Arsenal signed Gyökeres, Eze and Zubimendi, but we lost Partey, Tierney, Jorginho. Did we strengthen enough to win it all, or did Beta make some mistakes? Let's grade every deal. Welcome back to All About Arsenal. The transfer window is short. Every deal has been done. An Arsenal squad for the 25-26 season is considered complete. Today, we are going to grade every signing, both arrivals and departures, and give our overall window verdict. Starting with incoming transfers, Arsenal's first deal in the window was a $5 million move for Kepa Arrizabalaga from Chelsea. I consider this a very smart bargain. High pedigree goalkeeper, excellent shot-stopping ability at a minimal cost. And most importantly, he provides solid competition for David Raya. This move gets a B+. Kepa has played in Chelsea, Bournemouth, Real Madrid, and of course he has come to the team to fight for a first team berth. Up next, we have Zubimendi. To me, this is by far the best signing Arsenal did this summer. He gets a solid A. A stylish deep line midfielder whose excellent range, control, pressing adds real value alongside Declan Rice. He's pretty much the classic partner Rice have always wanted. We also saw how amazing he was when he played in Real Sociedad. And now, from the couple of games I've seen so far, he's worth every penny spent. Up next, we have Christian Nogard, who came from Brentford. This is an A- for me. A reliable, experienced midfielder offering leadership, depth, and tactical grit. Great value. Came in from Brentford after playing 196 games for this London outfit. Good in the air. We have seen him play consistently in Premier League, and most importantly, he's a minutes monster. Noni Madueke, he gets a B for me. A very dynamic winger with lots of potential. Quite expensive, no doubt. And of course, when he initially signed, he was on division among the fans. But it was an inspiring vote of confidence from the club. You saw how he played at Anfield. Very direct. Aiming for the goal, no questions asked, all business. Good in the left, good in the right. I've actually seen him play in both flanks. Against Leeds, he took Martinelli's place, did very well on the left. When Saka got injured, we could even be happy enough to play him on the right. Back then, when Saka gets injured, there's panic stations everywhere. But in Madueke, we have a winger that can actually play in that position with minimal force. Christian Mosquera, he gets a B+ from me. A young, versatile defender who has come to bolster our defensive depth. Offers a rotation option, could play games in the Carabao Cup, in the FA Cup, but guess what? He has already played in the Premier League. William Saliba, a usually reliable defender, suffered an injury in the warm-up, played a couple of minutes into the game, and couldn't continue. Guess who stepped up? In Anfield, of all venues, it was Christian Mosquera, and he had an amazing performance alongside Gabriel. He was not forced by what Liverpool had to offer. Tackles, top-notch. Passing, excellent. He is someone that can actually be trusted to even play the Premier League, and he showed that. To think he's just 21. Viktor Gyökeres. He gets an A- from me. We've always wanted a centre forward for God knows how long. Here comes the man wearing Henry's number 14 jersey. Big money buy, coming to give us reinforcements in attack. And guess what? He has started paying it off. Against Leeds, simple pass took from Calafiori all the way in midfield, slalomed his way through defenders and blasted it to the bottom corner. Of course, there was also a penalty, and you could see the conviction at which he took it. This was no Saka trying to do things against Courtois, chipping the ball. This was a man who knew where he wanted to play the ball, and he blasted it. I think I've even hinted He's going to be a penalty taker going forward. And of course, from the way he played against Leeds, it's very evident that he's going to be the one. We've also seen him struggle, no doubt, against Manchester United, against Liverpool. But come on, even Erling Haaland struggles in some games too. As far as I'm concerned, I'm very elated with the signing of Viktor Gyökeres. I know he's going to score so many goals for years to come. Eberechi Eze, he finally came home. A creative spark in midfield, offering us with flair and goal contributions. Quite a high price, no doubt, but the creativity is second to none. Eze gets a B+ from me. We waited so long for him to make his debut, as I thought he was going to start against Liverpool. But in the small time we got a glimpse of him when he came on for Martinelli on that left, it became evident that is who should start on the left flank going forward. Eberechi Eze is going to cook for Arsenal, and I can't wait to see him play against Nottingham Forest from the start. Piero Hincapié gets an A from me. Versatile, physical centre-back, adding tactical flexibility and cover for injuries. I thought I did a deep dive into Arsenal move for Hincapié, and you can check it here. Excellent deadline day business, brilliant cover for Jakub Kiwior, top deadline deal, better. Now let's have a look at our departures. Thomas Partey, left on the free transfer, gets a B from me. Injuries finally caught up with him, and of course the arrival of Zubimendi made him surplus. Apparently there was a plan to give him the Jorginho role, but he could not get an alignment with Arsenal to agree on a contract. So sad to see experience go, but the timing was right. Partey did well for us in the 5 years he played for the club, but I think Arsenal was right to let him go. Jorginho gets a B+. Sad he had to leave his contract a bit early because he wanted to play in the Club World Cup with Flamengo. But considering everything, Arsenal fans were okay with it, and even the board and the management weren't fussed about that as well. He gave us great service, showed leadership, controlled tempo in games, but obviously the age clearly meant that it was time for him to leave. And I think it was a good move for him. Tierney, he gets a C+ from me. This was someone that I thought was going to be an Arsenal favourite for time to come. You know, when he joined the club in 2019, he showed us a part of him that we really loved, especially when he tucked in his shirt every time, like every time. And he was potentially dubbed as a future Arsenal captain. However, the injuries were so much. It didn't allow him to get an extended run in the team. He eventually went out on loan to Real Sociedad and still had many more injuries. They could never retain his services, and eventually we had to let him go for free. I think Arsenal could have done better to sell him for any fee in short. But unfortunately, we did not do that. So that's why it gets a C+ for me. I think someone like Tierney had value at the very least, not to go as a free transfer. It was poor asset management on Arsenal's side. Nuno Tavares, he gets a B. Never nailed a first team bet at Arsenal. Struggled, was always very erratic, didn't inspire confidence. Moves to Marseille, he did well there, came back, and of course he moved to Lazio and kind of found his form again, with the club opting to retain his services permanently. Quite a small fee, but at least wages are cleared, and now he has some direction in his career. Marquinhos, he gets a B+, going back to Fluminense. Edu brought him from the Brazilian league, I think it was Sao Paulo or so, and he had that good game in the Europa League against FC Zurich, where we thought he was the next best thing since fried plantain. But unfortunately, he couldn't cut it. He was a fringe player at best, couldn't even make it to some Carabao Cup games. And eventually, we sent him on loan at Norwich. He didn't work out. Sent him on loan to FC Nantes in France. It didn't work out. When we sent him on loan to Cruzeiro, then obviously he was back in familiar surroundings and kind of found his feet again. So sending him back to Brazil was a no-brainer. Wish him the best. Jakub Kiwior gets an A-. I really loved what Kiwior did in the club, but unfortunately, there was always a Gabriel and Saliba ahead of him, and no matter how good he did, he was never going to be a first-team player at Arsenal. So you could understand the fact that when Gabriel got injured last season, and Kivior play consistent football. He saw his value and of course knew that he had to continue playing football consistently. So it made sense for him to leave. And Porto did a very good bid for us. I think it was not a bad deal, 27 million euros or thereabouts. And what was more important was that with Kivior going, we signed Piero Hincapié. So I don't begrudge Kivior for leaving the club. Wish him the best, and I think it was a very good deal for Arsenal. Albert Sandy Lokonga, just a B for me, moving to Hamburg. We've tried so many loan spells for him. Luton Town, he flopped. Sevilla, he flopped. But it was mainly due to his injury challenges and inconsistencies. However, moving to the German Bundesliga offers him a fresh start in a league that is a bit calmer for him. It might suit his playing style a bit better. And of course, the fees were very low compared to it. So it was certainly a loss compared to what we bought him for. But it was a good move for him. And I think there was no way he was going to stay at the club. He wasn't happy. He needed to leave. And at least we found a deal for him in Hamburg. Bye. You won't be missed. Fabio Vieira, yeah, this is an interesting one. He went to Porto last season and didn't light as much fireworks as expected. He even stayed behind to play in the Club World Cup, but obviously they got eliminated in the group stages. And when he came back, it was evident that he wasn't going to stay. So what did we do? We tried to find moves for him. Stuttgart came, deliberated, very cheap deals and all that, but we were not satisfied with the terms they offered. And now he has gone to Hamburg alongside Lokonga. I'm guessing that he'll be one of the most creative players in the Hamburg ranks, and he probably rediscover his form again. We can watch him and see how he plays in Hamburg. The next season, maybe you can now sell him for a fee that we believe we can get for him, or what he's worth pretty much. Then finally, Alexander Zinchenko to Nottingham Forest. That's a B for me. Zinchenko was way down the pecking order, and it's so sad to see his decline. After I did a video about the decline of Zinchenko, you can check it out here. Behind Lewis Kelly, behind Calafiori, behind Hincapié, man, it's going to be very difficult to even nail a place in the first team. And it was good to see that at least he has been a lateral move to Nottingham Forest. I don't know if he's going to sit ahead of Nico Williams, but I guess it's Espirito Santo's problem right now. High wages, I'm sure Nottingham will have paid a certain amount of those wages, which is going to also reduce our wage bill, which we don't mind. So in summary, the best signing as far as I'm concerned was Martin Zubimendi. He gave us some balance and quality in midfield, transitioning away from Partey and Jorginho to go into Zubimendi and Nogard was a massive upgrade in my humble opinion. The most exciting signing was Viktor Gyökeres. You could see the buzz, especially the record he had in Portugal, 97 goals in 102 games. That's quite a lot, but at least we have seen him score 2 goals in 3 games so far, and we expect to see more of him in the future. We're happy to have a centre forward that can be on the end of chances, and I think we're still adapting to his style of play because the team plays more like for Havertz right now, and we'll continue to keep doing well to get Gyökeres into the mix. But he's going to bag loads of goals for us. The worst exit to me is Tierney. It's not as if I don't feel it was a move that needed to happen. It was a move that needed to happen, but we should have gotten some money for him. That's just my pet peeve. It was not as if I'm not open to him leaving. Obviously, he had to leave. He wasn't longer a first teamer, but we should have made some money off him. The smartest business, as far as I'm concerned, was the swap, losing Kivior to get Hincapié. That was so swift. I love that. Then of course, the signing that galvanized everyone, that gave us that Mesut Ozil moment was Eberechi Eze. You could see his story. Formerly at Arsenal, released at 8, went through the trenches, finally got a name for himself in QPR before he became a star at Crystal Palace. But that unveiling at the Emirates Stadium before the Leeds match was amazing. You could see the love. You could see how the fans were happy and elated to have him in our ranks. And we can't wait to see Eze cook. So my overall verdict, our incoming signings gets a grade of A-. Our outgoing signings gets a grade of B. Arsenal strengthened in every area. I mean every area. goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, strikers. We also trimmed the squad and built depth for a Premier League title and a Champions League run. Arsenal has delivered a transformative summer. No, scratch that. Andrea Better, no, Don Better has delivered a transformative summer. Better's business in this transfer window shows strategic depth, positional balance, and most importantly, ambition. Arsenal strengthened from back to front, addressing every key area while carefully managing our departures. So what do you think? Did Arsenal win the transfer window, or should Better have done more? Drop your ratings in the comments. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you at the next video. Till then, come on you Gunners.